Hello everybody, this is JD again. Tonight I'm going to talk, or today, or whatever you want to call it, about your personal rights and freedoms. First one I'm going to start off with is Amendment 15, XV. The right of a citizen of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account, etc., 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 etc. It said the right of a citizen of the United States to vote. At that point, it's not a privilege. It is a right and responsibility that you have. The right the government must give you, the responsibility you must do to the government to ensure that the government is abiding by what you want. Without you exercising that right, the government does what it does, like it does now. Term limits are decided by the people. Right now, Congress should have a full body term limit. Everybody in Congress who does not listen to the American people and their constituents, everybody should no longer be employed. Their terms should be terminated. No ands, no ifs, no buts. Exercise your right to vote and give them a term limit. They have a job to do, and they are not doing that job by not serving you. Serving the political party they belong to is not their job. Serving you is their job. The next thing about rights and privileges. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any laws which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizen of the United States, nor shall any state, they don't have it in their federal government, but federal government also, deprive any person life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within the jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. This is about your rights and privileges. Some people have asked me, how do I feel about personal freedoms? Personal freedoms and protecting them is the one and only real job of a government. To ensure that within a society, your rights, your privileges, your personal freedoms are protected. That's why the 10 amendments were added, to give an outline of the responsibility of the government. The sole responsibility of any government is to protect its citizens, and in this country, to protect your personal freedoms, your personal rights, and your personal privileges. That's why we have a military, so that other countries cannot attack us and infringe on your rights and your freedoms. That's why we have schools, our education department, so that your personal rights and freedoms, so that you receive an education, so that you could fully enjoy the fruits of this nation in your personal rights and freedoms. We have a Treasury Department so that you can use United States currency to enable you to enjoy your personal rights, your privileges, and your freedoms. Everything in the government is set up in the United States to ensure your personal rights, freedoms, liberties, etc., etc. And that is the true sole purpose of the United States government. Everything it does. So, Bill Clinton once said something about liberties and restricting them. The Constitution has no bounds. he does not understand the Constitution. And that's the problem with politicians. They have no idea of the Constitution because they bend it and make it fit instead of looking at it straightforward. The Constitution does have limits and bounds. The limits and bounds of the Constitution is when you exercise your freedoms, your liberties, your privileges, and infringe or deny others their liberties, their freedoms, their rights. You have crossed over the limit because the purpose of the government is to protect each and every individual. And therefore, the Constitution has its limits. That's why you can't drive on a highway at 200 miles an hour. Because if you drive on a highway at 200 miles an hour, you lose control of your car. You lose control of your car, you crash into other people. You injure them, you kill them. You have just infringed on their personal rights, freedoms, and liberties. But if you want to build an oval track about a mile, 2 miles in circle, and drive 210, 230 miles an hour on it, feel free. Oh, wait a minute, we do that, don't we? It's called NASCAR. See, the cops around a NASCAR track don't come running on the track with their sirens blaring, saying, whoa, you're going over 60 miles an hour. You're speeding. See, that's the way our freedoms work. Our personal rights and freedoms work in that as long as you allow equal personal rights and freedoms to everybody else and do not infringe on theirs, you have no limits or bounds. And the government is to protect that above all else. Why do you think we have militaries? Oh, to protect you from other nations infringing on your personal rights and freedoms and liberties within the society, all called the country of the United States of America. How do I feel about personal rights and freedoms as president? One, and my foremost job, in according to the Constitution as defined, especially laid out by the first 10 amendments, is to ensure and protect each and every one of you with your personal rights and freedoms and liberties as guaranteed you by the Constitution. Yes, like the right to vote. And that's right, the right to vote, not the privilege. When that amendment said the right to vote, it was no longer a privilege. The right to own and bear arms, the right to freedom of speech, the right to an education, the right to practice your religion as you feel free, the right of your society to practice your religious beliefs without interference by anybody else outside, to protect these things. That is my job as President of the United States. Above all else, and everything I do will be defined by the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the United States is to set up a government for the United States that will ensure and protect your rights, your liberties, your freedoms as outlined. And it will be protected, each and every one of you, from the instant you are born to the day you die. I will, above all else, defend and protect your individual rights. That's why politicians and lawyers are no good as political leaders. They're no good because they bend and manipulate the Constitution. They don't protect and go by the Constitution. Term limits. Everyone in Congress right now running for election should be up for a term limit because they are exercising their own feelings, deciding what the party wants without consideration of your personal rights and freedoms. Think about that. the right to own a gun. Until you infringe with a gun onto somebody else's personal rights and freedoms, no one has the right to take that away from you. It will be protected. The right for freedom of speech, the right for freedom of religion, the right to vote, all that from the day you're born inside this country will be protected. I promise that. Boy, do I promise that. Some of you are going to get very upset when I enforce it. But the day you are born to the day you die, I will protect each and every individual's rights and freedoms that is born in this country, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Therefore, they are a citizen as defined by the United States, and their rights, above all else, will be protected. Thank you. This is JD.